Hello everyone, my name is Danielle. I'm from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card reading, I was really feeling some earthy vibes, so hence little mushroom figurines I have everywhere. I just felt like maybe we're all needing some grounding or something right now. So that being said, the topic or the question for today's pick a card reading is, what do you need to hear right now? We're going to be pulling a card from an animal deck to see you and who you are, and then we're going to pull 3 cards to see what archetype you're in right now. So what energies are you kind of struggling with or needing help around? That will be good for an energy check so that you know if that pile that you've chosen is resonating for you. And then moving on, I'll be using an Archangel Michael deck for some advice. I'm also going to be using some healing mantra cards for advice, and the card here you'll be also using as a pile selection as some major self-care advice right now. And I also have some soulmate cards that I'm going to pull some advice from. They're a little different though than other soulmate cards. They're like these, so they can even be advice cards just for you right now around any situation. It doesn't necessarily have to be around love, so you can take it or leave it as you like. And that's pretty much it for the plan today. Just looking for a lot of advice and just energy check to see what you're struggling through and going through right now. Okay, so that all being said, before we choose our piles, I will just quickly clear the energy here. So if you have the volume on loudly or have headphones on, this is sometimes loud, so you might want to turn the volume down. And I'm just going to do this 3 times to help ground you all before you choose your pile. Okay, so for pile 1, we have this rabbit holding a mushroom. Oh, and sorry, I try to hide my other thumb. I cut the skin off of the top of my thumb by accident. I guess I didn't even cut it. It was a jar opening accident on a smooth jar. It's a bit of a mystery, but it happened, and I had it in a band-aid, but it was like keeping it, I don't know, this sounds kind of gross, but you know, like sometimes you need to not wear a band-aid or cover something up so that it can like kind of dry out and heal. And the problem was is every time I would put a band-aid on, yes, it wouldn't start bleeding randomly and go everywhere, but it just wasn't healing either. So I'm trying to go band-aid-less until I get worried about catching it on something and then I throw something on it. But anyways, sorry, my thumb is kind of gross right now. Also, you can choose by this card here, which is interesting because I did just flip it over, but you just happen to have gotten the card that the back of the card deck was based off of. So it says, I love you. These are powerful words. So that's pile 1's option. Pile 2, I actually don't know the name of this stone, but we're just going to call it the Green Pyramid. I believe it's probably some form of jasper. And your card option, we have spend quality time together. Listen, talk to each other. Okay. And then pile 3, we have this hedgehog. There's a little mushroom and a frog on top of it. If it will, I don't know why it's not really, it's very blurry. It's not focusing on it very well. There we go. Or we have this pile has relationship patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. Maybe I'll hold that closer. There's a lot going on in that image. Okay. All right, so if you need a second, I'll give you a second. Also, there are different colors in each of these cards. It just worked out that way, I guess. Green and green, so funny. Yellow, and we have over here, I think it's more white or light pink. I can't totally tell. So That being said, I'll let you choose your piles and I'll see you all in your pick a card readings. Hello, pile one. So you chose the cute bunny with the, oh, sorry, my camera just never focuses when I throw something this close. You chose the cute bunny and the mushroom, although you can't really see it right now, okay? We'll put you right there by the little bigger mushroom. Okay, so I love you. These are powerful words. I love this. So this was really around the major advice you need right now. I might get more into this after I pull your first couple of cards, just to get a little more information about who you are as a person and what archetype you're struggling with right now. So that being said, we're going to use the animal oracle cards. Whoa, sorry. Just an insanely loud gust of wind. It's still going on. I don't know if you can hear that in the camera. Weird. So windy. You can't normally hear the wind in my house, but that must be some serious wind. Okay, sorry. I'm not focused here. Let me just recenter. And we are asking for pile one. I want to know who you are at your core. What is your essence that spirit wants to focus on right now? Because I feel like this is who you're forgetting you are right now. So, okay. Just give me one, maybe. Okay. Oh, you got peacock. I love that. Sorry. that one is interesting because when I saw this, I was just thinking like, I wonder if you're gonna get like this type of card, and you did. So I think I'm already getting more information on who you are, who are choosing this pile, which by the way means you are most likely overly accountable individuals for things that you shouldn't always take accountability over, and you are just a very kind, vibrant soul and a loving person who often feel like doesn't see that. And also when I think of the peacock, when it comes out for like who you are as a person, I see it as you are as beautiful on the inside as on the outside. Like it's I don't know, like peacocks are so showy and shiny and beautiful and colorful and very like, it's like captivating to look at. I know some of you are saying like, oh, they're really mean animals though. No, okay, we're not tuning into that energy. We are tuning into the gifts of the peacock. And I do feel like the biggest message is just like, you really are a very beautiful souls. Like you just are so colorful. Like I don't know if you understand how much compliment that is, like just to be so colorful and clear. And also I feel like very gifted with seeing all the perspectives in a situation. Like I keep getting focused on these little eyes looking things, like third eye looking things that the peacocks have on their tail, and I'm like, it just goes to show like you can see so many perspectives of what's going on. And I even think this is why this energy is coming up for major advice. So when I was seeing this, I just wanted to pull a couple cards, see and make sure that I wasn't going into assuming, but I felt like this is just saying like you need to be more gentle with yourself. You are taking on too much accountability and responsibility for, let me just double check here. I feel like I want to say I can't even say the word, miscommunications. Whoa, that was weird. I was speaking so clearly and then bam, it was gone. Miscommunications that are happening. I don't know. You know your situation, but I just feel like I just feel like you're taking too much of it. Like I wonder if the other people are taking any accountability for that miscommunication. And if you're just beating yourself up here for any disharmony happening in relationships, friendships, coworkers, romantic relationships. I even want to say teenage kids relationships. Okay, that one's very specific. I don't think that's majority energy, but there's just someone here who needs to hear that. Even though they are your children and you're the parent, they still need to learn how to communicate, and you can't be accountable for reading their minds. So sorry about that. Okay, so anyways, archetypes. I'm really into shuffling a lot with this pile. So I think this might even mean that you guys think a lot, overthink a lot, always overanalyzing situations again and again and again and again. And I feel like you try to see where you are not taking accountability, where maybe you could take more accountability, maybe where something could change. And I just feel like this is even a message in itself where it's like, whew, you need to let go of some of that, because remember the whole thing about there's two people in any relationship and each have to come vulnerably, authentically, and take accountability for their half. I feel like you're doing the thing where it's like, if you heard the 80-20 rule, where it's like in relationships, you're supposed to take 80% of responsibility all the time and leave 20% up to someone else. Well, I think the problem is that you're actually taking the 80%. And in theory, in that book or that system, the other person also should be doing the 80-20 rule. So then you both are like operating at your best. I think the problem is the people or the person, I kind of feel like this is a more specific person you're struggling with, is not taking the 80-20 rule as well. They're just staying in the 20% rule, if that makes sense. I don't know if you've heard of that book. I don't really think about it very much. So I wonder if you have just read it, or you've been advertised it or something. Or you have been reading it. But yeah, I would say, and I haven't actually read the book. I just listened to a podcast person interviewed about it once, and I thought that was kind of an interesting thing, but the other person does have to take the 80% too. So just throwing that out there. Okay, let's actually ask for a card to come out. So what is pile one? What archetype is pile one in right now? What is going on for them? Okay. I guess it's decided these two. Kind of thought you'd get one in reverse. Not that you need to, but I feel like your energy is kind of like drained. Let's do one more. I was only going to do 3. Okay. There we go. So, you know what? Sorry, someone was like, what does this peacock card say? So it says, you were born to shine and inspire. Practice humility to avoid jealousy. Be grateful for life, and more good things will come. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. So this card to me is just someone, you know what I kind of think of, and don't attach it to having to be this, but I think of like Aries in astrology signs, where they're just like really easygoing, have like a childish energy about them. They can get really excited about things and be very joyous. You don't have to be an Aries or have Aries in your sign or something like that. But that's just like, if you ever talk about astrology or know anything about astrology, I feel like this would be like the energy, just this general, this very sincere energy of just joy and happiness and wanting to bring that out in people. And sometimes, this is the other thing that I also find interesting, is that often I find like Aries is associated more with people with being like stubborn, selfish, blah, 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 and all this like shadow attributes. And I find like, I think this is even what you're struggling with, is like, I feel like you take so much accountability that when someone says, oh, well, you know, you can just be selfish, or you're only thinking of yourself, or something like that, I think this is where partially all this overthinking is going on for you, because you're scared that is something that is true and could be true. But I feel like that 80-20 rule, you're just taking way too much accountability. And I feel like this person, I don't know, could be a mother, it could be a significant other. Honestly, I'm not getting a strong energy right now for this pile on specific relationships. So I think for the general pile, it's very varied on who you're struggling with. I really do think it could be just family members in general. It's just not or friends. Sorry, someone's like, what about friends? This is not my pile. No, it can be friends too. And I feel like it's draining. Sorry, there's just random messages coming at me all over the place. So the other thing I'm also hearing is something about penguins. Some of you like penguins, or like mating for life, one mate for life or something. I think that's what penguins do. I don't know why that's coming up. That's super random. Also might just be one random specific message for someone here. Sorry, my cat just... Oh! he has like an addiction to chewing on my headphones, and I thought I'd be clever and tuck them under a pillow on my couch here. And he just dug up, which moved all my cards I was going to pull for you to get to the headphones to chew. So I'm just quickly putting cards back in the piles, not scattered, spread out messes. Okay. So sorry. Anyways, very distracted day, which I do think is partially what you're going through right now. I think there's just a lot going on and a lot of things going through your heads and worrying about different things. So even when I look at these cards, like this Herald card, I'm like, holy poop. Apparently, if you swear on YouTube, they start algorithming your your channel out of recommendations, which would be interesting because I do swear a lot in some of my videos. So we're gonna say holy poop. There's a lot going on in this Herald card. So much. And the other thing I keep getting drawn to is like this ring around this rabbit's neck and just feeling like it's just being, I don't know, enslaved by like all this different stuff, or weighed down is maybe a better word I should use. I feel like more weighed down, can't fully reach its potential because there's just so much other stuff coming at it all the time to deal with. And being entangled in some relationships that aren't serving you. That's just definitely something I feel like is coming up very, very predominantly in this reading, which is so interesting. Even with my words, I feel like I keep wanting to use a word, and then as I go to say it, it's hard for me to articulate it. So I don't know what's going on with that energy, but I would usually assume it's something that's going on for you where you're struggling with communicating something effectively to some people, or you're saying words and you're even being very cautious and careful and deliberate on which words you're using, and then it's still not coming out and having the communication effects that you're wanting it to have. So I don't know. So sorry, where I was going with all this is that there's definitely a pretty big message around this, whoever you are inquiring around whatever and whoever you're inquiring about. There's just someone who is not giving you the same amount of value, respect, and time as you are them. So what do I mean by that? Like I was saying, I keep talking about this 80-20 rule. I just feel like, especially with the snakes entangled here, I just feel like you're putting in a lot of work right now and someone isn't quite meeting you where it's at. And the important, like when I'm asking your guides, I'm like, hey, like, why are you telling me this? What are you supposed to do with this information? It's just to bring to your awareness, basically, that you might not be the problem. It might not, everything you do might not be the problem. And I think you might just need someone to tell you that so that you can, with your very gifted ability to see all these different perspectives on the situation, look into the perspective where you're like, okay, like it doesn't matter how much I try running around and leapfrogging around each hoop thing that pops up. I might not be able to change the dynamic that's going on here because you might not be the problem. Okay. So like I said, I can't even really see what exactly the situation is. It just seems important that you know that it's not all your fault, any disharmony or miscommunications. There's two people, and unfortunately from what your guides are showing me is that this other person is not putting in the full effort as you are right now. Doesn't mean forever, but right now. And that's just the big thing is they want to bring this to your awareness because they think you've been really hard on yourself. And when I see this peacock energy, it talks all about like, yeah, having a vibrancy and a love and a joy for life, an easy way about yourself, an easy way of enjoying small moments. And when I look at the archetype cards here, it seems like you haven't been able to be quite in that energy. So especially the Herald, I can't stop looking at this card. This one is just, maybe this is almost one where I'm gonna read it for you in here because it's just, it keeps looking at me in a way where it's like, I have a message that's very specific that I need you to share. So I will read it for you and you only take it as it resonates. But if usually when this happens, it means someone, whatever's in the guidebook is like truly what you need to hear. Okay. Sorry, page 128, which matters to some of you. I don't know why. Maybe like number 128. Okay. Okay, so it says, nimble hands pluck at the strings of a lute, and fragrant smoke curls from beneath the wide brim of a hat. The herald exudes an easy sort of charm that draws others to them as they play their tune. Sorry. I want to say they play their true tune, which actually might be more applicable for you, because I feel like you are just naturally kind of like this herald card is saying, like easygoing, light, and vibrant, but which does attract other people. So it says here, but beneath that smile and easy laugh, there is an undercurrent of melancholy. Maybe it's melancholy? Oh my gosh, is that how you spell melancholy? I think so. Gosh, English is weird. So many words I've never seen spelled, and then I'm like, what? I would have never spelled that word right. Okay, so they think back to the day that their life changed, to the flowers on the hillsides, the hares in the grass, the guard waiting in ambush. Would their fate have been different had they taken a different path back then? Or would it still have turned out the same way? It's easy to get caught up in a what ifs, but if you go forward holding on to all of those little regrets, you're going to miss out on the pleasure of the moment. Be your own herald of change and bring something new and more positive into your life. Don't let the force of your own feelings separate you from finding joy in the path you're now on. Okay. Interesting. I kind of feel like your energy here is a little mysterious to me, because there's a lot of gaps in information that I'm not getting. And usually I do get clear information. So I'm just going to take it as it is, because it usually just means like it's general card reading, and a lot of people might be choosing this pile one. And you all have such unique situations. And if I were to have too much specifics on one, it wouldn't quite fit for another person. So I just have to be okay with that and not know what I'm trying to convey, and just say the message as they're giving it to me, even though it doesn't quite make sense to me. So the other thing that's coming up right away with this is just like, if some of you have, some of you might have actually taken action to create separation, or been forcibly separated or cut off by this person. And you might be in a place where you're like, why did I waste so much of my time? Why did I give that so much of my energy? Why did I not make other connections? I like put all my eggs in one basket, that kind of energy. If that fits for you, I do feel like this is saying like, you didn't waste your time. There is great value in what was learned here. So whether it was learning your value, and it can't be an 80-20 split where they aren't also playing the 80-20 game. It has to be mutual or it doesn't work. One will be burnt out, one will be exhausted. I don't know why 80-20 keeps coming up. So maybe, I don't know. I feel like someone must have, maybe your partner or whoever this was, like threw that book at you or something like that. I don't know. It feels like, I mean, I'm so sorry. I'm sure the 80-20 book is great, but I feel like the way it was used, or it's being used against you, doesn't feel great. It feels not good. So I don't know. I have to just say that, because I just feel like there's so much accountability on your side and none on the other person's side, that it just, like as the reader, it's like when I have a hard time not going into my own human reactions and being like, this person was not very fair to you. They were not very fair to you, and they're like manipulating you because they knew you would take accountability for things. I don't know. This is my human me coming through. That's how I'm seeing it, and I don't like that. But I do want to be mindful, because these readings I just come from a higher place, and not my human judgment. But I don't like the energies attached here. It doesn't feel equal, kind, of compassionate, and caring, and I don't like that. And I'm sorry you went through that. So, that all being said, the other thing I'm seeing with this chiromancer is delivering news and collaborations. This is so interesting, because I feel like this is fated. So here the Herald, it was really talking about too, like, this was all contracted to happen. Don't feel like you wasted your time. Don't feel like, as frustrating as that is to truly hear, it's like, you had to learn this lesson. But I feel like however this ended, it's like this is actually very aligned. When I see like the palm, I'm actually thinking of like this was destined. It's literally in, like, if you get your palms read, I think someone could basically read this in your hand, or say like this is an experience you were gonna have. But the beauty of it is that now you're in this acceleration time where you can grow through this. And I even think this is another reason why this I love you card comes through. It's so important for you to love yourself right now. And I like that her hands are on her heart, because it's like seeing and valuing her truest self. And I think that makes me sad is like, I feel like actually when I tune into this like person, they feel like they haven't been taking very good care of themselves physically. So I feel like they're not eating right. You know, it's almost like their body is feeling deprived of nutrients or vitamins. Maybe they were like, you need to lose weight or you need to look different. And then this person wouldn't have left you, or people would have liked you more, or something like that. And I think you're getting out of that. I hope so. Because I see with the hand on the heart, it's like letting go of those past destructive patterns and cycles and beliefs, and just appreciating yourself for who you are. The other thing I keep seeing too is like a harp. I don't know why I keep seeing a harp in like strings, guitar strings, or not guitar actually. I take that back. It's something with a lot more strings than that. I don't know. Randomly I want to say the fiddle. The fiddle. I don't know what's going on there. But I do just feel like there could be like music that helps you feel more grounded. It could be harp music. It could be gentle, loving sounds, angelic sounds. I feel like angel vibes are coming out strong here. Nurturing, loving, unconditional love kind of vibes for self-care. Just listening to that music, or maybe you're learning to play the harp, or some instrument that has a lot of strings. I don't know, something going on there. Okay. Anyways, so I do just feel like this was all very destined, and I feel like you're going to have people coming in. This is so funny. I was using this for your archetypes. I'm getting totally different message than your archetypes. Whatever. I feel like this happens all the time. You have a plan as a card reader, and then sometimes your cards are like, actually, you're going to read this instead, not the archetype your person's in right now. So, cool. Whatever. Well, as long as they're serving a purpose, I'm happy. So anyways, I do feel like there is going to be collaborations coming in, and I can't help, I'm so drawn to the energy circles or lines here, like the arrows. I don't know, I'm seeing it as like energy moving, and I keep getting drawn to all these like shackle like energies on you, you piles like one. I don't know, I feel like you've just let people tame you or something like that, or you tamed yourself for other people. And I'm just like, I think that's going away now. I feel like you are coming into a time of freedom and being free. But I don't know. It's so interesting. I'm like, I don't know if you know that yet. I feel like there's like, you're still processing whatever you've gone through. You're definitely still processing, but you can't see that you're actually growing out of and getting out of cycles and patterns. So it's really cool to see that. And I just keep getting this. It's all destined. You have two It's All Destined cards. And then Parenthood, Legacy, the Botanist. This is really interesting. I actually just see this as coming out as being really important to self-nurture and self-care yourself. So maybe you have been doing that. Like, I feel like seeing yourself and cherishing yourself as a beautiful rose. And I do like the analogy of roses because they have thorns. They have gone through hurt. They are beautiful, but they have a lot to them and a lot of depth and a lot of story and a lot of history. So when I see this, it's like you've been through a lot. You've probably had a lot of not super loving people in your life. This person wasn't the first person, and I think there's just like a lot of healing that is coming through, because there's old things, old belief systems that were brought through with this person, the way that this dynamic was, maybe how they left you, maybe how you left them, maybe things that they would say to you. I think it would kind of brought up some old stuff. But I don't know, I feel so proud of this pile, because I think despite how like I can tell this is like a horrible time for you, I feel like you're actually doing your best you can to be kind and gentle and nurturing, and being like, I realized there is some things I needed to learn here, and I don't really like how I learned it. I'm not sure if this is the best way I could have learned it, but it keeps coming in as this was all divinely planned for you to learn it this way. So unfortunately, that's what happened. It was what was predestined to happen, pre-agreed on to happen, and on some level, I feel like you know that and you're trying to grow through it. And the paintbrush is really standing out. The painter, productivity, creation. So this is the one thing that's so fascinating with great devastation and great chaotic times. There's so much creative energy because everything's been destructed and destroyed, right? So all you can do is create. You can create more of the same, or you can create something new. And I feel like you're really realizing this because when I see the paintbrush painting on these roses, I feel like I see a person's body here. I don't know if it's supposed to be. I thought it was like a geisha, like a is that the Chinese? I'm so sorry. I was trying to say Chinese and Japanese at the same time, I guess. I thought I was saying Japanese, where they had the geishas. That's what I keep seeing, geisha, and painting on this value and self-beauty. Communication is weird right now for you, hey? For this bio. I feel like normally you're actually very articulate, and I think you actually do communicate very well, despite what other people have said to you in your life. But I think there's just so much going on for you that you're having a hard time finding words that actually can mean and articulate and describe what you're going through to the extent that you feel it. So I think this is just kind of like a part of it, being like, the words aren't quite right. They don't have enough depth. So that being said, hopefully this is resonating for you. This is supposed to be the energy check. We're going to move on to some advice cards from Archangel Michael. I wanted to use these cards because he's so protective. No, he is the Archangel of like, yeah, protection. I feel like all angels are super loving. Always on our side. And I also feel like he's just like pretty much seen as the healthy representation of masculine energy. So if you've been hurt by someone's masculine energy or a lot of masculine people in your life, I just like using him as being like, this is what true loving energy and protective energy looks like. So that being said, once again, I'm shuffling a ton. I almost feel like it's also this pile's asking a lot of questions as I'm shuffling. So it's like, which question are you going to answer? That might even be why I got a different answer than I was intending for here. I think you just have a lot you're digesting and working through. And like a lot of it I said is like old stuff coming up in new ways and really, really old stuff and like questions about new stuff. And it's just like a lot that you're going through right now and trying to work through the best that you can. I do really see that. You are trying so hard, and I don't know if anyone appreciates that about you, but I'm seeing it. Okay, so back on track here. Archangel Michael deck, what is advice or guidance you have for pile 1 that's in their highest good right now in love and light? Okay, I want that one. I want this one. I want this, and okay, I was gonna say I want 6. I want 6 cards. Perfect. So we have honor and trust your feelings. Detach from the situation. Go forward fearlessly. You and your loved ones are safe. The person you're asking about is trustworthy and guarded and protected. Okay, so you have 2 cards about saying you're safe and not to worry. So, and they're both healing. So it does tell me that you definitely were in a situation where you felt, how do I put this? I mean, it's also detached from the situation, which is interesting. Okay, let me refocus my thoughts here. I'm just going on too much information at once for me to be able to say. Okay, so if we're saying first, we have the honor and trust your feelings is another confirmation or validation for you that you see things from all perspective, and you have to trust that it isn't always all your fault or all on you to figure out or all of your accountability, your responsibility. I think you do know that, but then there's like this ego or fear that can come up and like make you feel like maybe you should have been taking more accountability or something like that. Oh my gosh, I just realized that Herald card with the hair was drawing to me so strongly, and then the thing you chose was a bunny with a mushroom. So definitely, I don't know what's going on with the hare, bunny, rabbit energy, but that seems really correlated with you right now. That even being said, I'm like, hang on, pause what I was just about to say, and let's go Googled the spiritual meaning of rabbits. I feel like that's very applicable for this pile. Okay, unpause. We have the spiritual meaning of rabbit. It can represent fear, timidity, nervousness, or humility, which is interesting because when I saw, I was like, this bunny is actually hiding under a mushroom. It's hiding. Why is it hiding? It's such a beautiful peacock. It shouldn't be hiding under a mushroom. Anyways, it says rabbit's medicine includes moving through fear, which is something I think is what you're doing right now, living by one's own wits, receiving hidden teachings, intuitive messages, quick thinking, strengthening intuition, and paradox. Rabbit also represents humility because he is quiet and soft and not self-asserting. Yeah, I do feel like that kind of represents a good kind of energy vibe of what I'm feeling from you all. The paradox thing is interesting because I do feel like whatever situation you're in feels very paradoxical to you. Ironic in some way. I don't know. There's something going on there where I feel like maybe all of y'all's is what I was gonna say. Situations are kind of complicated and a little confusing, and maybe took you a lot of time to like figure out all the details of what was really going on and like really see the whole situation for what it was with this person, however they're related to you. And I even think that's why, like, it's just like, it's all just like quite confusing and a lot. And the best thing the guides can do for me is just give me the advice you need to hear with you knowing all that you know now about what was going on and what was happening, and maybe still are confused about some things. So I think that's even why detached from the situation is coming up pretty strongly, because it's like, you know how you feel about it. You sometimes doubt yourself and question yourself and maybe go back down these loopholes or these wormholes of thoughts. And where it says detached from the situation is just like, you've really spent a lot of time overthinking it and thinking about it and trying to figure it out, and that whole accountability and taking too much accountability and things that aren't yours to take accountability for. This other person really needed to take more accountability. I just keep getting that as a pretty strong, pretty clear message: accountability and vulnerability. There was something not aligning there with this person. And when I tune into it, it's just like they're just operating, I want to say, not in an authentic place, where I feel like you are someone who knows your shadow, knows your light attributes. And I think that's even why you take too much accountability for your shadow, because you're like, I want to be this light attribute all the time, but I know I have a shadow side, and I know sometimes this happens. So I feel like you're taking over accountability, or whoever this was you're in relationship with. So like I said, friendship, coworker, family member, mother-in-law, father-in-law, whoever they were, spouse, I just see them not as operating as both. It was like they were ignoring the shadow side from what I can see, but then because they were ignoring it, they were living very fully in it. So I don't think they were always like that, so don't beat yourself up about it. I feel like feels more recent, so it feels like they started living in their shadow side later on in the relationship that you had with them. And then that's when they really stopped taking accountabilities and stop coming from an authentic place, because you can't ignore half of yourself, right? Or a quarter of yourself, or whatever part of yourself. You can't ignore that and not have it become a problem. So I really want to make that clear for this pile. I don't feel like this was on you. I feel like you were very aware of like the yin and the yang of yourself, and they were ignoring and repressing. So it was like they're already going to be triggered. They're coming at you hard because they're defending, and they didn't want to see this could be something they were accountable for. So that's why I see detachment situation, because you're going to be using language or words used against you that they had used from a not true place. So they just were saying things to dodge the responsibility. So don't overthink it. If you like, their higher self would recognize that a lot of the statements were just, unfortunately, statements they used because it would cause hurt towards you or redirect the responsibility onto you, and they knew you would take it. And this is very much, I would see how their higher self would see it. So detach from the situation. It says, Archangel Michael, I ask you to use your flaming sword to cut any attachments to fear or drama so that I may be centered in the knowingness that peace is everywhere within me in this situation. Yeah, because it's just like, at the end of the day, you're never going to get to something that's gonna like make it all make sense, because I feel like you weren't given the whole truth. They weren't taking vulnerability or accountability. So you just, the information you have, no matter how much you get, um, you'll just keep overthinking it because this person wasn't being true about their shadow side with themselves, authentic with themselves. They didn't know themselves. So all you can do is honor and trust your feelings. Speaking of authenticity and authenticity is like, this is all you can do. And I feel like you are really good at that. Despite what you may have been manipulated or emotionally thrown at you, contradicting this, you are. And I feel like people do recognize that about you. Because even here, I'm just seeing all this like energy coming from the heart, and just like, yeah, you're really good people, okay? Just don't doubt that about yourself. You're a really good person. You're very kind. You are overly compassionate, and maybe overly accountable for things that you really have no accountability of. So just you trust and honor yourself and your feelings, and know that you are still this beautiful little ray of light. Other people still see that, and I'm so sorry that this person did not see that in you. Well, they did, actually. They did, and unfortunately, that's why they were able to put the responsibility on you. Because they knew you'd take it. So then we have go forward fearlessly. So if for some of you who are like, oh my gosh, this is just a pattern that keeps repeating in different ways and I don't know how to stop it, I see this, and it comes back to those two cards underneath here, the Herald and like this Destined card. I mean, still check in with yourself and like be cautious of things, but I feel like you really did learn this lesson. Whatever this type of person is that might have repeated in different patterns, I feel like you're clearing it out, because I don't know, I keep seeing this as solar plexus. So you're learning your worth and what you want. And although you might flip flop a little bit because you're processing some things, I feel like overall you know now what to watch out for, what to look for, and how to know when someone's being authentic versus someone is just being in their shadow side and only showing parts of themselves and stuff like that. I feel like you really have a clarity around that. And I also like that I see like Michael's cape or like jacket, whatever. Shacket is what someone just said. Shacket. I don't know what that is. Shawl jacket. Is that what that means? I don't know. Clearly you all are from different generations than me. You keep using words that I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny being a card reader and being like, do I know that word? I guess I'm saying it. I guess I know it. Yeah, anyways, keep getting distracted. I do feel like you are being very protected by the universe and your guides, Archangel Michael, all of them. I feel like they're gonna kind of help make sure you don't make bad decisions right now. I don't know. It's like funny to say that, but it's just like I feel like your higher self on some subconscious level had like a deep talk with your guides and were like, I need to get out of this lesson. I need to not redo this. I need help. And I think they are really, really helping you. There's so many around here about protecting you, keeping an eye out for you, and it's time to go. Hard vibes around that. Like you're ready. It's time for you to go. Time for you to cut cords with this old pattern. And the thing I keep being drawn to here is the balance here. So there, like, I feel like it's cutting the scales so that whatever, like, it's like, for example, I almost feel like you kept thinking like, wow, like the scales are so imbalanced. Like I'm always like not doing enough. And now they're like cutting off the fake weight that they put on you. And now you can see like, oh, the scales weren't balanced, but it wasn't because of my lack of effort like I was being told. So I just feel like there's lots of clarity right now. You're seeing the toxicity of people's actions or words. I see the snake over here, and I feel like I see it in its shadow attribute of, I want to say like shape-shifting, of like manipulation, of like responding from toxic behavior or toxic patterns. This isn't like a snake, like a nice snake, like in Kundalini and transformation. I feel like it's like, yeah, I feel like you're just really seeing people or a situation more clearly every day. I don't like, give yourself time. I feel like it's every day. And the other thing I'm being drawn to is the fire again, which maybe you are fire signs or something, because I do feel like that lighthearted energy, that easygoingness, and then like the fire is like coming back. It's coming back and it's gonna fuel you up. So it might feel very slow to you, but part of this is great because it just means that you're really coming back to like not gonna make the same mistake or not see things clearly. And remember, your third eye is seeing things accurately. So if there's like some new people coming in displaying some similar attributes or part of these attributes that this other person had that harmed you. I feel like you actually, it's like, that's a great sign that you are now identifying it and seeing it for what it is, not an illusion of what the other person was hiding. I don't know if that quite makes sense. So there was a lot learned, whether you realize it or not. There's a lot learned that is gonna bring you towards a better person or situation, because you know what to look for now. You know how to identify it and be like, no, I don't want that, but thank you for the opportunity. I'm gonna move on. So the person you're asking about is trustworthy. This is interesting because I'm a little thrown off by this. I kind of think it's talking about yourself, so you take that as it resonates. But I feel like it's fair to trust yourself. It's safe to trust yourself. You see things clearly. You saw the situation. You are seeing the situation clearly now, and I feel like you're bringing healing to it. So I don't know. That could be specific, but I really feel like it's talking about trusting yourself. Once again, another confirmation that you are guarded and protected, and this cycle won't keep happening. And I literally feel like the universe is keeping you away from whatever this person is doing now. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I just feel like, say you were like, what if I run into this person and it's awkward? I don't think you're going to encounter them for a bit. You feel like you're really quite protected. So you might literally keep missing each other by milliseconds, by like a minute or two. But I think that is like literally divinely done. And I feel like I keep getting like your higher self agreed to this. Like I feel like your higher self subconsciously somewhere in there could see all this shady shit going on, or this mistreatment, and I feel like it literally had like a little meetup with your guides and was like, hey, I need help getting out of this situation because my human me can't see it for what it is, and I want to move on from it. Like, I don't know, it's really interesting. It's so fascinating actually to see that, because it's like there's like such a wisdom in you. But I feel like your weak spot can be taking this over accountability when other people throw it on you. Like when other people are like, no, this is a you thing, not a me thing. And you just take it because you're so like kind, and you just like, I feel like you want to love everybody, and you like are like, I do have this in me as a shadow side, so I will take accountability. That is going to change for a healthier, more balanced version, as the balance card keeps coming up very clearly for you. So, okay. That being said, my next thing I was going to do, and sorry if this is getting a bit long. I have just like a card. I'm going to say just a card you need to hear right now. It could be from your higher self, from your guides, or from this person. We'll see. We'll see what comes through. Okay. What does pile one need to hear from these cards right now? Okay. I also wanted that one. And I actually want a third. There we go. So we have every experience, regardless. There goes my tongue again, not enunciating words properly. I don't know what's going on. Every experience, regardless of whether you perceive it as good or bad, comes with a gift attached. Yet sometimes the gift is only revealed with the passing of time. Trust all is as it should be. So interesting. The other word I was accidentally going to add in there was trust that truth will come with the passing of time. So I do feel like for this pile, like I feel like you still get a little hung up on not knowing the full truth about something that happened in this relationship dynamic. And like kind of knowing, like trusting your intuition, you are probably bang on is what I keep getting. Like, I think you do know, but it hasn't been confirmed by the person, and therefore just who you are, you keep going, well, it could maybe not be true, so I'm gonna like give them some leeway. Well, I think you're quite right, and this truth will come out eventually. And I think we'll just validate everything you already knew, where maybe some other people will be like shocked. You're gonna be like, finally it's being validated, but by then you won't even need it because you will have learned to trust yourself, outside of needing this external confirmation, which does also make me feel like that whole Herald card where it's like, why did I go through this for so long? Why did I put up with this? This is definitely a thing. It was contracted. It was karmic. It was a deep lesson you learned, And I do just want to point out that I feel like that rose energy so strongly, and you're going to blossom into something more beautiful, something truly loving, because I feel like with who you were before, you didn't really realize how much you deserved. And I don't know if you realized, I think you were settling for people who wouldn't love you fully, who wouldn't love you for your full value. And I don't know if you even realized that. I think you just were like, this is what love is. But now I think you know, because of your own ability to love so strongly people, anything really. I feel like you're very loving people, that you deserve that back. And it should feel like as you give it out, you should be able to get that back. You can get that back. But I think you hadn't experienced the same level of love as you've put out there. So you didn't know that this wasn't as loving as it could have been, but now you do. Here we have positive and loving thoughts are instrumental in creating positive, loving relationships. If you're in doubt, only serve to create greater uncertainty. Think more about what is right in your relationships, less on what you think is wrong. So if you're getting this and you're like, what? I think part of me, there's kind of two things I'm getting going on here. I think this is a confirmation to why that other relationship, whatever dynamic it was, wasn't serving you. I don't feel like it focused on what was right in the relationship. I feel like this other person always focused on what was wrong, which also just created more things to be wrong. And I feel like maybe their way of talking about the relationship was, it's always struggling, or it's always so hard to. And I feel like for you, it was kind of like, I want to talk about something happy, or wanted something good to be. I don't know. I feel like there was just like, even there, I feel like your energy towards it versus theirs, your focus on it was what you loved. Their focus was on what was always wrong. I feel like this is actually confirmation. And I'm even saying here, like, you want to find someone in any relationship that focuses on what they love about you and not on all your flaws or things to just nitpick at you, okay? So it's not ignoring things, but it's also just like, oh, this came upside down. Having that healthy balance again, where you don't just beat someone down for fun because you're not feeling good about yourself. You honor the relationship and value them, and you're choosing to be in a relationship with them in any context because you do value them. And you love them for who they are. So here we have it. Let us be the love we seek. Let us be change we wish to see. Let us give freely to one another without condition, for it is giving that we receive. For it is in giving that we receive. This is interesting because when I came up upside down, it made me feel like this is what you're trying to move into, and this is not what you were experiencing in this relationship dynamic. So like I said, I really do feel, and I want to be very strict, like very, very clear, that this could have been a mom relationship, a mom and child, a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, or son-in-law, or like child and father relationship. There is more of like, I don't know, in this pile, it feels more like it was a mother-in-law or a mom for some reason, but then it also feels like it could have been a spouse that was male or female. Yeah, but I don't know why. It's only specific with the parent. For some reason, I keep feeling like it was a mother thing, but I don't know. You take it or leave it. It is general pick a card reading. And for some, I do feel like it was like a friend who this happened with, who you'd been friends with for a while. I'm not sure. And just like, it was extra heartbreaking, like an old best friend or a childhood friend. And finally seeing the unhealthiness and the fact that they didn't appreciate you for who you should be. Okay. So I do have one more card I wanted to pull. And so sorry, is this like an hour? I paused it a couple of times because otherwise my recordings will just automatically stop at a certain time. So I have no idea how long it's been, but I think it's probably getting close to an hour. So thanks for hanging in there. And let's pull one more a mantra card for you. So this is a healing mantra deck. So what would be the best mantra or mantras for pile 1 right now to help support them? Okay, kind of wanted this purple one. in this, and I kind of want 3. So here we go. So we have my intuition flows whenever I am still, which I kind of love this because we have a lot of trusting and honoring your feelings, your intuition, trusting your third eye, knowing that you can trust yourself, that you actually are picking up on what's going on. And it's not paranoia, it's not your fear, it's not you being a bad person. You actually are picking up on maybe the shadow side that these other people don't want to see. And in some piles, I would feel like I would have to say a ton of like disclaimers, like doesn't mean you're never wrong, doesn't mean that blah blah blah. But I feel for this pile, you just always are picking on yourself. That I actually feel very confident saying your intuition flows whenever you are still, and saying like trust yourself, because you are sometimes being too nice to people who aren't being nice to you, and letting them stay in your life longer than they really deserve to experience you for. Okay? So you're gonna know that the past is what it is, but now you are going to act in a way that's more honoring of you and see your value. So here it says, I don't choose sides, I take a stand. Encountering conflict. So I don't choose sides, I take a stand. And sharing shame, which is interesting because I feel like you take all of it normally. It says, when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. So I also feel like this is maybe a good little shout out to any of you who are going through some challenges and you are trying to support yourself by yourself. It's okay to let people in. Not everyone will treat you as this person did. And like I said, I feel like you're so protected. So when I even saw like this collaboration card way back here then, I do feel like there are people who literally are being divinely sent to you, who can support you, who can honor you and give you like encouragement and reminders that you aren't the bad guy. You don't need to take accountability for everything that happens, and you are so much more precious and so much more loved than you realize. Get that strongly for this pile, okay? So that all being said, I think we're actually at the end of your card reading. Thanks for hanging in there, and thanks for, being such a wonderful person. Give yourself a break a little, okay? And before I let you go, we're just going to clear the energy again. So yeah, if you have headphones on, you might want to turn down the volume. I feel like these are kind of loud. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to do it 4 times for good foundations for you. Here we go. Hello, pile 2. It's so funny. I was supposed to say pile 3, so that was weird. Don't know what's going on there. So you chose this pyramid that I actually don't know what it's made out of. Some kind of jasper, I'm pretty sure. We're going to put you here. I kept thinking of Mother Earth, specifically when I chose this crystal. It might even be a crystal that's known as the Mother Earth Stone. I don't know. Maybe I could Google that. Didn't do that though. Anyways, the other card you chose was spend quality time together. Listen and talk to each other. I actually always find this to be like a very peaceful and loving card. Like I don't know, I see the grapevines. Oh, I guess it's not even grapevines. It's like a tree with flowers. I think of like a willow, but then I think of grapes growing on it and lavender for some reason, which is super random because I don't think that actually works like that in this world, but that's what my mind sees. And I just feel like vulnerable, authentic, which seems to be a word today in these card readings, connection. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love that. Those true heart-to-heart moments. That's what I feel like when I see this card. Okay, so that being said, let's just straight away get pulling card for who you are. You yourself. It might even be a card that you've forgotten this is how you are because of your current circumstances. So that being said, for pile 2, what is the energy of pile 2? Who are they? And their eyes get you want this one? Okay. And I think I'm going to pull some archetype cards. I might not look at them right away. What is the energy that you're in right now because of this situation or whatever is going on for you right now that you're here looking at a pick a card reading? Okay. I said 3, but I keep getting 4, so it's a thing. Okay. Right. Do I want to look at them? I don't know. I feel like I should. No, don't show me you yet. Okay. So we have Link's Keeper of Secrets. Take time out from the world and be the observer. Nothing can deceive you when you trust your knowing. You can see other secrets and keep them sacred. In silence and solitude, you will find your strength. So this is who you are. So okay, my first thought is I keep thinking about cats, which I actually think there is a cat card in this deck. So it's interesting that that one would come through. But I feel like when I see this, it's like someone who is very self-honoring, or who knows how to be self-honoring, and respect their needs and their energy levels. And the other thing I keep getting is someone who is equally introverted to extroverted. And often maybe you think you're more introverted, but I just feel like with this Links and the Keeper of Secrets card, I feel like it's someone who really appreciates intimate connections. So one-on-one meetings with friends, maybe 2 close friends at once, but even then I feel like you'd rather just be one-on-one with people. Quality time being just even like your main love language, being very trustworthy, being very loyal. But yeah, being very, very respectful of the time and energy you have to give so that you can be the person you want to be in relationships. Have the energy you want to have, the attention span you want to have for them. So I feel like this is who you are at a core level, a part of you, I should say, because you're a vast human and you aren't just this one thing, but this is the attribute it's talking about in this card reading, so it is important. Okay, so we have the archetype you're in right now. You have Child, Orphan, Priestess. Ooh, I like that. Advocate, and then we have the Servant. And the other thing I'm really intrigued by is all your cards are in the light attribute, which is cool. Which is also interesting because, yeah, when I saw this spend quality time together, I feel like there is a lot of loving energy coming off of this card, which when I quickly put it down and saw on the pile selection, I was like, ooh, this might be a turbulent relationship they're in right now, but I don't get that now when I'm tuning into this. And when I tune into your energy of who you are, and then I'm seeing these light attributes come through, if anything, I wonder if you're just having a little hiccup in your relationship where, you know what, I don't know if this is going to be the case for everyone, but I wonder if for some of you, you're actually just wanting to take a relationship to the next level. So I feel like this is more specific to romantic partnership for this pile, wanting to go deeper. Could this be friendship? I'm just sort of asking. No, it does feel very romantic because I feel like they feel that level of vulnerability. I feel like a lot of love. And timidity. Timidity? Is that a word? Timidness? Maybe. Is that a better word? I don't know. Anyways, a little bit of shy, a little bit of timid energy coming through, because I feel like there's a lot of like love and gentle emotions coming through for this person you're kind of taking the next step with. So we have energy right now, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving, facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel for spiritual energy, inspires you to put compassion into action, delights in serving others with a free and loving heart. Yeah, I feel like you're actually doing really good right now. You're doing really good in your energy. I don't know. That's really nice to see in a pick a card reading. I feel like I'm a little caught off guard by this. And I think the other thing you keep getting is I don't think you've been in this place for a long time. Like I feel like you might have come from a place of hardship and struggle because all these cards are in the light attribute. I feel like because You went through challenges to get here. So even when I see this like advocate card, I feel like I see like the growing tree. Like you've planted your seed, you've nurtured it, it's starting to grow, and you're now in that stage where you're getting to reap the rewards of that work and that growth. And that deep work, I feel like. So yeah, especially when I see the child orphan, like this card comes up through a lot of challenge and difficulty, and like having not had your inner child supported at some point, or having the nurture and love that you needed. So the other thing I just want to say is, like, right now I feel like for your energy, I feel like I see you really in a place of self-empowerment, knowing your value. I feel like you've been there for a little bit, but you're really like really learning to honor yourself more and more every day. Definitely lots of nurturing going on. And then the servant card, I actually see this as you're really wanting to express your love and care for people through acts of service. So maybe you've been trying to volunteer lately, or you're trying to do things to help your friends out or your loved ones out, or even this relationship. Sorry, my battery was just flashing red, so quickly changed it. I was saying, the servant here, I feel like, yeah, you're just really want to show this love connection here, that I really strongly feel like you're wanting to take to the next connection, to the next step. Yeah, just wanting showing love through acts of service to them and helping them out. And maybe they're going through like a bit of a stressful time or something like that. So that's also why you're doing it. The Mother Earth energy, though, I'm so curious. I wonder if you're just feeling really grounded, more grounded than you normally do. Maybe spending more time outside. I don't know. I feel like for this pile, from what I'm seeing, or the side that I'm seeing right now, is you're actually in a pretty blissful state. You're honoring yourself. You're learning to do some inner child work, and I think you are learning how to be independent. And like it says, getting out of fear and surviving, and getting more into flow and just being. Priestess is all about empowerment and knowing your value. Being compassionate. Yeah, I feel like these two really go together. Learning to really show compassion for others and helping them out where they can, all in a self-serving way. So yeah, this is actually like pretty light energy. It's so funny. There's like a part of me that's like, are you all hiding your shadow side from me right now? I don't know. But then I'm like, this might just be me thing. Because I wasn't expecting such a lighthearted reading. Yeah. So cool. Great. Awesome for you. That being said, let's pull some Archangel Michael advice cards so that I can get a little more information about what's going on. I guess part of me is like, why are you all looking at a YouTube pick a card reading when everything's going in such beautiful flow for you right now? So yeah, let's see. We'll just ask for, what does pile 2 need to know, all in their highest good and love and light right now, around the situation that I feel like they're wanting to advance in. Okay, let go of fear, take your time making this decision. God is in charge. Lean on God and the angels for support. Okay, we want both of them. Oh, I don't like odd numbers right now, though. So, there we go. It's funny. Yeah, even the 3s, they wouldn't take the 3. It had to be the 4. Something about odd numbers is just not aligning with me right now, I guess. Just for this specific pick a card reading. Normally, I actually feel like I go for the odd numbers. I wonder what that means. Even numbers. I guess I want everything to be balanced. So I guess that's what I'm getting from that. Okay, anyways, we have let go of fear now. Take your time making this decision. God is in charge. It's time to leave this unhealthy situation. Lean on God and the angels for support. Forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. Your inner guidance is revealed and trustworthy. Use your imagination and you'll see the answer. Okay, interesting. So fascinating. Because like I was saying, I feel like everything about your initial energies is saying everything's wonderful and beautiful. But then when I pull some of your cards, I'm like, things aren't as wonderful and beautiful um, for you. You're not experiencing things as wonderfully and beautifully, I think, as you're showing other people. Which, don't get me wrong, everything's here is saying, like, don't worry, things are going to, like, figure itself out. But I wonder, like, this card talks about secrets. I wonder if you kind of keep your inner world a bit secret from other people. You're really good at keeping other people's secrets, at being self-honoring, but I don't know if you fully let people in on what's going on in your inner world. And I even wonder if that's what's making you nervous with this romantic partner, is I feel like you're wanting to take things to the next step, commitment wise or relationship wise. So maybe you're gonna get engaged. Maybe you're just even at the point where you're like, what are we? Are we boyfriend, girlfriend? Or like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're wanting to have a kid or something. I just feel like I got that when I saw that little kid there. Yeah, I don't know. It's like getting too much information all at once. Again, gotta slow this down because I can't communicate this quickly. Yeah, so I do feel like there is fear, and when I tune into this, I feel like there's fear of basically letting someone in and allowing them to see that you're not perfect. You're human. You have fears and limiting beliefs that sometimes you doubt your value, or you doubt what you're deserving of, or your fear of being rejected or not good enough. Those are just human things. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like this keeps coming up because maybe you don't share it with people. Or you think you're sharing it with people, but you're not actually directly saying it as clearly as other people need to hear. So let go of fear now. This is definitely coming through as a confirmation that I think this other person is going to see you and love you and be like, yes, I know you're just a human and you have issues sometimes or struggles sometimes, and we're here to lean on each other. Take the time making the decision. When I see this, I don't know. I feel like maybe you're in a phase right now where you're like feeling like you need to take a lot of action. I mean, definitely with like your attribute cards coming through, I feel like you maybe feeling like you need to take a lot of action, but there's just like this moment of like, just breathe, exhale, breathe in, exhale. Take your time and just double check that all these things that maybe you're taking action on or communicating are aligned with you, not just in the moment, but truly with what you want. That's just what I would say. So just double checking that it's not just from the high of the moment or feeling like you want to be of service. Because I do get this like energy of like you're just really wanting to help people out, and maybe sometimes that can go past like your, what's the word I'm using? Self-honoring you. Honoring yourself. Does that make sense? I almost wonder if that's why the cat card didn't come through, because the cats are like 100% self-honoring in my opinion. But the lynx is like, it's on its way, but it's not quite there. It's working towards it. Still kind of camouflaging. I don't know. Like still kind of hiding some things that they're like little too scared to show vulnerably. So that's interesting. But this card was intended to be like you at your highest self. So like I said in pile 1, some of these cards have not come out in the way I've intended them to come out for, but as long as they're communicating the message for me, then that's good. That's all we're here for. So I feel like you are still a little bit on your self-growth journey, which is totally fine, which I feel like I have to say this about, because I feel like you might be harsh on yourself about being like, oh, my shadow. Don't tell me that. This must mean I'm a bad person. You're not a bad person. Everyone has this. Like, no one is all light. Everyone has shadow and light, and everyone has fears, and everyone has strengths. And don't try to hide that about yourself, because it's actually what makes you very approachable and human and relatable. So I would say, I'm so sorry. I feel like some of you are like, I don't like this. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to say, like, this person that you're wanting to go to the next level with will only appreciate and admire you more for your honesty and authenticity and vulnerability, and like even admitting to having some of these like fears. they're not going to love you less for it. They're going to love you more. So I think this is a big lesson you're learning right now, because when I see forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong, and your inner guidance is real and trustworthy, and lean on God and the angels' support. This is a lot of clearing energy going through, and a lot of like nurturing your inner child, nurturing the inner child. That's really important. There's such a big message too around like younger you didn't do anything wrong. Like I feel like whatever circumstances that led to certain beliefs about you having to be perfect, not having a negative thing about you or a human thing about you, was just like, unfortunately, other people's guilt and shame and like issues being put onto you in your upbringing. Like I just keep getting that. So you're just really in a time where it's important for you to understand that you were innocent, you are pure of, I want to say pure of heart. I don't know, maybe you have some religious upbringing, because there's some seriously religious words coming through my mouth. And even I see like this Bible and stuff. I don't know if it's supposed to be a Bible, but I keep seeing it as a Bible. And maybe you were taught to not trust yourself, but just trust God, or never trust yourself, trust the Bible, never trust yourself, trust this. And I just keep getting like, this might even be a wounding that you're healing a little bit from still. And I just feel how it would be affecting your relationships is that you feel like you need to be perfect, but your relationships, the people you're in a relationship with, know you aren't. And like I keep wanting to say, like, you being vulnerable about the things you're struggling with just makes them love you more, and cherish you more, because you're being authentic. They're seeing you, and they get the privilege of seeing you, and that's what relationships love, is just being able to see different depths of each other. So there's don't worry about what you're gonna show them, because it just makes you more human and makes them realize how much they cherish you. I don't know, I feel like that's really important for this pile to hear. It's a little bit random, but I feel like it's really important, because I feel like this is something you've really struggled with in other relationships as well, is being clear. But like I said, this has come through because you're working on this. You know this wasn't something that served you in past relationships. It's like maybe hiding part of yourself, which is even funny when I showed all this and I was like, I think this pile might just be hiding some things from me as the card reader. Which is, I mean, I want to be careful with my words, because I don't want you to take that the wrong way. I think your upbringing made you feel like you were never allowed to have a shadow side, or a not like an unreal side. That is just standards that no one can live up to, and that would be exhausting. Absolutely exhausting to try to meet them. So I just feel like there's some healing going on that you are doing around that. But yeah, so the caution is just in making sure you're making decisions that really are self-honoring. And they're not in the moment of like wanting to be like this perfect human and give the other person everything they're wanting. So I don't know, like maybe I'm just trying to double check before I say this crazy shit. Like, I don't know, like maybe, I don't know, I do feel like you want to start a family. There is like that energy there. You're wanting to protect, I feel like you're wanting to protect a family or something like that. That's like another random message. God is in charge. But I feel like they're just saying like, it's not just you. The universe is going to help you out. It's going to keep an eye and keep things you want safe. And you don't have to do it all. You don't have to be perfect. You don't always have to be the hero. That's like another thing. You don't always have to be the hero. You can just be human. I feel like I have to say that. You do not have to be the hero. You can just be a human. A regular human who sometimes doesn't know what to do, and sometimes doesn't have the answers, and sometimes needs other people to help them out. So yeah, it's okay. And then it's time to leave this unhealthy situation. This one's really interesting. Use your imagination and you'll see the answer. There's two things here. These two cards are so connected. I don't know what's going on. This is very clearing, and I feel like I don't know, feels very tarot actually, where I feel like it's talking about the swords and like making like the Two of Swords, where you had to make a decision on leaving something or staying in something, and you might have chosen to move away. Like, I don't know, I feel like this person is like, someone free me. This seems super random and specific, so I'm so sorry if this is not resonating for you, but I do feel like someone was in the energy like, someone free me of this. And you put up a hand for like some help, and then I don't know, I almost feel like you got kicked off the horse. This is just super random. I don't even know what this means. I And I feel like with the crown chakra stuff coming through, and like there's so much about communication and crown. Communication and crown. I don't know why. Maybe you finally saw something and it's important for you to communicate it. Yeah, I think this is something where you're just a little bit blocked, even too with this card. A lot of it, I think, is talking about communication. So, gosh, this is so tricky when I'm not getting like specific situations. I'm just like getting told bits of things in general card readings. But I think it's just because there's so many different people in these card readings that it's hard to pin down each of your very unique situations and give you exact specifics when it's general. But I do feel like you were given a lot of divine guidance, and then maybe where you've been blocked is in communicating it. So once again, I feel like this is all tied to this romantic partnership, which is, yeah, it's so interesting. When I tune into this, I do feel like a gentleness, and I'm so attracted to this blonde hair that is just kind of like, it's a bit of a mess. Wild mess. But I think what I see this is like this person you're trying to communicate with is real. They're not trying to hide that they're not perfect, that they're like, I really get that. They're like, look, I'm messy. I have this stuff going on in my life and I'm just a human. And I feel like it's time for you to also be as equally honest and vulnerable with this person. So it's just, yeah, like it's safe. It's safe for you to be that honest, okay? That's what I want you to hear. It's safe for you to be that honest. I feel like you've been really pushed to be honest about this. Whatever this is, because whatever this is about yourself, I feel like it's really not that bad. That's what I keep getting. Like, it's like something you feel bad about because it's like part of your shame and guilt, and you were told in your, I think, religious upbringing or very strict upbringing at the very least that it wasn't okay. But here to this person over here, it's nothing. Like, it's nothing. It's like, what? Oh, you mean you're just human? Oh, you're just like wanting to try a very human thing. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for being honest with me. That's the energy you keep getting again and again. So, I don't know. Hopefully this makes sense to you all. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about because I'm not sure I do. So that being said, I do have these soulmate cards, and I'm just going to ask for advice for you. This could be from this person or from your higher self or from the guides. We'll just see what comes through and how it makes sense. So what is in their highest good? Okay, you got this one. Dwelling on the past and future keeps me from experiencing the power of now. I make a conscious choice to be present. I accept love now. I'm grateful for your love. Okay, so I actually do love this because I think this is something that you all do a little bit, is you worry a lot about the past and how maybe being vulnerable or truthful about some things didn't serve you, or you got in trouble for or punished for. And then I feel like you go into the far future about how this person might take it, all the possible ins and outs of it, and like what could or couldn't happen, worst case, best case. And it's just saying that breathe again. I feel like breathing is important for this pile. Breathe in, so exhale in. Exhale out some of that stress and craziness and frustrations, because I feel like it's going crazy for you all. And just like, I accept love now. I accept love now. I'm grateful for the love that I have right now. And if you're constantly worrying about how it worked for you in the past or how it might work for you in the future, you are missing out on right now and this person right now. Yeah. And I mean, like, this person might not be forever. This person could be your forever. But if you don't just be present in the now, you'll never really fully experience it or have it right now. You know, like, you won't really be present for it. Okay. And that could even be why you lose them. Or it could even be why you end up growing through them. I don't know. But I feel like that's important to know for somebody here. Okay. Maybe one more from this person. Your romantic interest. What would they say to you right now? If they could. That was a lot. So it says, I am forever grateful for your loving kindness and for the joy you bring to my life. You are a gift from the eternal heart of love, a blessing for most benevolent universe. So I mean, like I said, I feel like this person actually is quite grateful for you and your vulnerability and all your flaws. Okay, we got 3 from them. So we have life is forever changing in accordance with nature's divine will. May we lovingly embrace life's changing seasons and the knowledge that all is as it should be, and that love is all there is. Okay, so they're basically like, I don't know what's going to happen either, but let's just be here in the now and let's just go through these changes together and we'll just see what happens. There's like no pressure is kind of what I'm getting from this person's higher self right now. Okay, last one I have is, I am so grateful for you, my love. You give so freely without condition. Life is an endless flow of blessings because of your great love, which comes back to this acts of service card. This person definitely really appreciates acts of service that you're inquiring about. And like, look at that. Grateful for you, loves you unconditionally. Life is endless flow of blessings because you are great love. So yeah, this person is equally pretty stoked on you, but I do get that they need you to come vulnerably and authentically and be a human, not a hero or a super person. They need you to be a human, which is a really important thing for this pile to know, okay? No one is perfect, and when someone is perfect, we don't believe it, and then we get suspicious, and we don't trust things. So you actually are doing the relationship a favor by being real. It seems like a very important message for you. I feel like your upbringing really twisted that for you. Like it's like the opposite. They taught you that you had to be perfect. People have to always be good. People can't be like, you know, I'm so sorry you went through that because it just seems hard. Okay. So lastly here for you, my beautiful pile twos, we have healing mantras for advice for you. So this is just something you might need to say to yourself or you might like hearing or repeating to yourself. Really do whatever you want with it. I just wanted to use these cards. So what is the healing mantra for pile 2 right now? Okay. Uncovering confidence. Ooh, that's appropriate. Balancing the brain. And we have encountering conflict. Oh, I can't do 3 apparently. We need things to be in balance. Okay, we got that one. I don't know what this balance thing is about. It wasn't like it was a little bit in pile 1, but like pile 2, you need balance. Liberating love, encountering conflict, uncovering confidence, and balancing the brain. Notice how a lot of them are pink and purple, which I believe is following your intuition and coming from a heart-centered, authentic place. So we have allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. Ooh, that's pretty big. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. I don't choose sides, I take a stand. This card came up in pile 1 as well, encountering conflict. I don't choose sides, I take a stand. You know what I'm getting for this pile around this affirmation is just that you don't negotiate what you want. And how do I put this? This isn't sounding right. It's like you're not settling for less than what you want because it works better that way. You actually are just taking a stand for what you want. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. Uncovering confidence. I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. So I feel like this is feeling like maybe you haven't always felt valued, but knowing that you have a perfect place that you fit in where everyone will admire you and appreciate you for the gifts that you have and for the human version of yourself who is real and not this fake hero. You are a human and you will be loved just as you are, flaws and all, somewhere in the universe, okay? And I think you found it. I think you found one that is gonna hold a nice little puzzle piece for you for a little bit and just help you blossom into your full self, flaws and all, your beautiful self, okay? The real human you. Balancing the brain. This is for sure feeling like overthinking. I can be and do all at once. I can be and do all at once. This is so fascinating. I feel like this just overthinking like crazy when I see that card come through. Okay. Anyways, this is all I have for you. I hope this helped in some way, and I just want you to know if you took anything the wrong way, I'm so sorry. I just really mean that the expectations you have for yourself are so high, and no one expects you to be anything but like a real human with flaws. And I'm so sorry that your upbringing taught you that that was sinful or bad or not, like just something to attain to that you could never, no human can attain to. So I'm sorry for that. This person is really excited to get to know you for all your flaws and love you because of them. Okay? So that's all I have for you, pile 2. I keep on calling you beautiful pile 2s. Okay? That's all I got. I'm going to clear the energy. We're going to do it 4 times to ground you in your foundations, is what I keep wanting to say. So we're going to do that. So if you have headphones on, you might want to turn down the volume a couple of notches just because it can be a little bit loud. But if not, I hope you have a wonderful day, and maybe we'll see you around. Hello, pile 3s. You chose the hedgehog with a mushroom and a frog on it. And I am suspicious that some of you are going to come from pile 1 or pile 2. Or you might just be, this might be the only pile you choose, which is all okay. But I had a bit of a vibe as I was doing the other piles that they were going to show up in some of the other ones. So we'll just see if that happens or not. I guess you'll be the only one who knows. Unless you comment, then I'll know. So the card you chose was Relationship Patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. And the thing that just like was calling to me was this little tiny child angel flying through the mirror and like waving at this person who isn't seeing it. I don't know, that just captivated me. I almost feel like this is a call to like bringing more joy in, funny enough. Like I feel like the flowers are wilting, this person is like wilting, and then here's this like little child with wings being like, hey, I'm over here, like remember me, we have fun. I don't know, it's a weird vibe to get from a card in this kind of reading, but I'm getting that vibe. So that being said, without further ado, let's just pull a card for who you are, pile 3. Your energy. I know you're like a multifaceted, complex human being, but just show me the key attribute that is important and is in your highest good today in love and light for this card reading. Whoop! I guess we want that one. Lizard, regeneration. Ooh, that's so appropriate with that like child energy coming back. Like I feel like your inner child, lightheartedness and joy. And I know sometimes inner child, we talk about this heavy stuff, but I actually feel like this is a really positive, like bringing back joy and lightheartedness. Okay, we're also going to pull some cards right away for pile 3's energy they're in right now. So what are you going through right now? What are the archetypes you're in right now? Pile 3, all in your highest good, in love and light. We don't want those, that's too many. Oh, I'm like, maybe I did want those. No, we didn't want them. Okay. It's so funny. I just came from pile 2, obviously, because I'm recording this. And I felt like there were some egos trying to hide some flaws in themselves. And I feel like what just came out in those cards was just like, this is what I want you to see. And I'm like, interesting. Maybe I should have looked at them. But you know what? I don't want to see what people want me to see. I want to see what's actually going on, because that's actually the advice that's going to help you. And if you don't want that, you don't have to watch it. And if it's not resonating, you also don't have to watch it. But like seeing our light and shadow when we're struggling through something is how we see the full perspective. how we honor ourselves and move through it, right? We can't just see one side. We can't just see all the bad. We can't just see all the good, and move through it. And I feel like this is going to be a situation where we're trying to move through something. So, so in your highest good and love and light, I guess I just asked to see both the good and the bad, just the truth about what you're going through right now, pile 3, okay? No need to hide it. It's just all in your highest good and love and light. It's just real. Okay. Thank you. I feel like this is already more honest. Thank you for being vulnerable with me and letting me read your cards. Okay. Some of you definitely came from pile 2. Not all, but some did. Okay. So we have, you know what? I'm going to put the order is important right now. Okay. They want to be in this order. So thing that I noted, yellow, that seemed important. The color of each of these cards you selected seemed very important to me. And here we have some yellow and brown going on. So that's just interesting. I feel like yellow is a theme, self-worth, realizing your self-worth and value, seeing confidence, the ego. There's a lot of struggle with ego right now. And being okay that you have one. Not just you, it just means in the other piles as well. And relationship patterns seems really appropriate because I wonder if that is affecting your relationships, kind of denying some things that are going on. Okay, so for artists, we had it in its shadow attributes, which is, okay, posing as a starving artist to elicit pity. Okay, I don't want this to be too negative. Sometimes I find these wordings are too harsh. So just give me a second here. God, interesting. Definitely some pile 2. I feel like this might just be an extension of pile 2's reading. Such a the God coming through in damsel. Okay, you know what? I need a second to recenter. There's just too much coming at me right now. Not you all, I just mean like information wise. I just need a second. I need to keep up. Okay. Sorry, I just literally needed like 30 seconds to just gather my thoughts. It is interesting. Because I do usually believe in just using more of the light to help people through situations. But with this lizard coming through, regeneration, and I feel like adaptation, adapting to new environments. I keep thinking shape-shifting. But the thing with the lizard is sometimes to survive, you shape-shift or adapt in your environment. And what I get from this is it doesn't always serve you. Some of those things aren't always serving you. It keeps you alive, but it's not letting you live your truest, highest life, if that makes sense, right? And I hope you can see that. Like, it's almost like if I saw a chameleon. It's like you're really good at adapting, but is this just a new skin you have on, or is this your permanent skin you'd like to keep? I don't know if that makes sense. Is this a new coat you're putting on to survive the situation, or is this really the coat you want to wear? I guess that's like kind of the question, the reflective question that I think this card reading is going to be asking you, and only you really will know the answer to that. I feel like this pile, like, I wonder if you're just going through a really turbulent time where there's lots of changes. I mean, definitely with the regeneration lizard card coming through and relationship patterns. I feel like there might have been a lot of chaos in your life. Ending of relationships, starting of new relationships, changing of relationship dynamics, like with family for sure. And it's so interesting because I'm drawn to like this person's head where they can dream of all this possibility, but I feel like there's like this ask of this balance between knowing what the dream could be with the person versus reality, versus like what you can actually be accountable for and work on yourself. I don't know if it makes sense. I feel like there's just such a big balance, and making sure that you are seeing things from a clear perspective, because how I'm almost getting it is I feel like you flip-flop a lot. Like when I see this artist card, I feel like it's like you can see the highest potential of a lot of these types of relationships, but then I feel like what happens is when they don't end up being what you're hoping they will. So say, I feel like you can like really dream up an amazing possibility with them, and then when they like don't turn into that, I think unfortunately it really tanks for you. I don't know if that's quite the right word. Like this one, I feel like it's like the artist is like so disappointed. Like I almost feel like the like depressive kind of energy where it's like I'm so sorry. I'm almost lacking the language to articulate this level of emotion. Pure bliss and excitement for the dream, and then the reality, I feel like something happens and you're devastated. It just feels like all your dreams were false realities and are never going to happen, and it's like complete inverse. That's basically what it is. It's a complete inverse of what your dreams were. Your dreams were so high and the fall is so far. And I think that's why this artist card comes through, because I almost feel like it's saying you need to find like a balance. A balance. And like, yes, it's okay to have those dreams, but maybe there's like this like not realizing that humans can't always make it up to those expectations, and it doesn't mean that you can't have them, but there's just like this, it's almost like if you there's optimism with you, and then there can be like this like very deep I want to say depression when it isn't met. I don't think it's like whatever the opposite of optimism is, that I can't think of the word right now. It's like out of my mind. It's literally left. Gosh, I keep trying to think of it, and I almost feel like this pal's like, don't say it. I don't want to be that. It's not that you are that, but I feel like it's just like, there's like this need for balance of like saying like being a little more of a realist, like an optimistic realist would even be better, because I feel like it right now, it's just like it crashes you so far when it doesn't happen. And then the Messiah is like serving humanity with humility. So I feel like it's like you really do want to be of service. You really want, I feel like your intentions are so good. That's what keeps coming through. Your intentions are so good, but then unfortunately you kind of have this pattern that's coming up where it's like you have these dreams and hopes that just can't quite be realized. And I think you're always finding yourself in different situations. In different groups of people with different relationship dynamics, and I feel like this still happens in most of them. Yeah, that's really interesting. I definitely feel like this is just an extended pile too. So if you were drawn to that, you might want to go see it. At the same level, like the same energy of person who's confused and conflicted and doesn't know what they're doing wrong, that kind of same person's energy is here. So maybe it's just one person who has really strong energy who's watching this. That could be what's throwing me off, is they're very loud. They're very strong. They're going through like a lot of confusion and mental struggle and flip-flopping on what to do, what not to do, and overthinking. So I'm sorry if you're not fitting into that. This person's energy is very dominant. So then we have over here God and Damsel. And this is what's tricky. This is the same kind of hero energy as pile 2, where it's like is like God in its light attribute is benevolent, compassionate, recognizes the internal force within yourself and others. And the shadow attribute is using power to control other people. And I think what happened here, like, I don't know. Oh, I don't know how to word this in a way that is loving and compassionate. Oh, I don't know if I'm the right card reader for this message. Why did this get given to me? How I feel, you know what? There we go. I think that's how I'm going to say it. So when this comes up in the shadow attribute, I feel like in your upbringing, and even for some of you, you might be watching this reading about someone else. I feel like I just got that. This isn't a big group, but there's some people here where you're trying to understand someone. And I might literally be reading them, not you, your connection. I want that to be clear. You're not this person, but if this is sounding like someone you were dating or something, or in a relationship with in some way, then I might just literally be reading that for you. And that might even be why some of the messages, like, they're giving to me kind of harshly, and I'm like, I am not saying that to a human, because that is just cruel. And even maybe that's even like a message here of like, maybe if this is for you, this is something you're asking about for yourself. I just keep wondering if your upbringing was kind of like cruel, but under the guise or the guise, however you say that word, that it was coming from a loving, godly place, a religious place of like, this is just the truth and I'm being honest with you. and which was actually not that loving, because I feel like they were like using the word God in a way to basically validate poor behavior. So if they said like something about like your worth and like related to like, well, God said this, like I just don't like that stuff, but I feel like that is what happened for this pile. And I think that makes me a little nervous for you all, as I feel like it taught you that you had to be a hero, same as pile 2. Like there's strong like I need to be the hero in all situation energy, and like you need to rescue people, but it's like this is seduction by romantic illusion. So it basically is saying like you're not seeing the situation clearly sometimes because this deep seated belief system, which I think you're really like you're like catching on that it's there because you found this pick a card reading. You wouldn't be able to even find this if this wasn't in your awareness to some degree. But it just makes me nervous for you, pile 3, because it makes me worried that you might find yourself in how do I put this? Oh, I don't know your whole relationship, so you always gotta trust yourself first. But it makes me nervous. You might be with someone who is not valuing you for who you fully are. Like, funny enough, here's this blonde hair. The pile 2 had a blonde hair woman. Blonde hair, kind of crazy. Wherein it's funny, and this one is totally different. This one is almost saying like looking at this person's shadow side, that I think in pile 2 the people who are inquiring didn't see the shadow side about the person. And so if you're literally watching these back to back, which I really feel like is majority energy here, this is like almost saying like maybe they're not as helpless as you think. And this is talking about seduction and by romantic illusion. So waiting for a knight to provide safety for them. And it's so interesting because I'm not getting this necessarily for you. I'm getting this for about the people you are attracted to. So like people who, because you feel like you need to be the hero or you need to save people, and this is deeply coming from this, I really truly feel, religious upbringing, where like there was just weird power dynamics that were supposed to be okay. These weird, there's just is a little weird stuff going on in this upbringing around like justifying basically toxic belief systems and behaviors under the ruse or the false word of God and God's love and God saying this. I'm so sorry. I really don't like this. This is why I said I don't know if I was the right card reader for this, because it's really hard for me to be like, oh, that's okay. I really have an issue with this. It feels so manipulative. It feels so gross. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Sorry, I keep going in and out of this reading because I'm just like, ugh, I don't like that. Ugh, I don't like the way you were treated. It's gross. So anyways, you come into relationships seeming like the hero. Like, I guess that's unfortunately, this is like your wounding energy coming in as being the hero. And unfortunately, it's attracting this damsel energy. And what makes me nervous for you is that this whole worry, like this artist energy here saying like you have these big dreams and you can see the potential, but then you end up falling so low. It makes me nervous that this romantic partner, and like I said, I'm not saying this is the one you're with right now or anything like that, but it makes me nervous that they are looking for the hero and they're not seeing you for fully who you are. They're not seeing that this is coming from a place of wounding. And I worry you're gonna fall into this artist energy of like being depressive, things kind of not turning out how it's supposed to be. So this is my own human worry for you. As I'm looking at this as a card reader, being like, oh no, I see your energy, I see their energy, and I hope this works out. But I'm really scared that it might lead to this sad energy. But it's saying you're going in with all the best intentions, right? You mean well. You really do want to be the hero. You want to help, but you're just human. You're just a human too. And you have like this horrible upbringing that taught you that basically you were second to God always, or second to someone always. And that's a really deep wounding that really needs some nurturing and care and takes some time to like work through. And when it comes up with relationship patterns, I think you've had this pattern in your relationship dynamic. So it might not just be with romantic partners. I think it could be with family members. I kind of think your family members might operate under this dynamic still. You don't totally know. You take it or leave it as is. I just feel like strong authoritative energy. So maybe your parents actually, I don't know if you have siblings, but I think your parents command this kind of relationship style still. I don't know, something like that. But anyways, This is heavy. I'm so sorry. There is a talk though about this all changing. So if this is coming up, a lot of it is changing, and the strength to recognize it needs change. So it is coming to you that you realize this is happening. You have some things to heal, and you have some like questions to ask yourself. Remember that reflective question of like, is this just the new skin you're wearing, or is this the skin you actually want to live in? Like, is this a for now or is this forever? Like, who are you? And wonder if that's something you need to ask. Who am I? Who am I? Maybe there's a meditation where you just need to say, who am I? And see what comes through. Because, I just don't want to see you in this cycle anymore. And I'm only experiencing this briefly for you. And I can only imagine being in this cycle as the human, you experiencing this, because it seems devastating. And like, there's a lot of heartbreak, and just like heartbreak on both sides. Because I almost feel like you see like the beauty in these people, and you kind of see them as like the victim. But the problem is when you come in being the hero and they're the victim, like I just feel like there's probably a lot of issues that happen in those relationship dynamics. So just be cautious of what you're seeing in people. And sorry, I'm like, what is a good advice for like right now if you're in a relationship? Just, I feel like being as authentic and vulnerable and real about what's going on within you as you can be. So even saying like, you know what, sometimes I have the habit of wanting to be the hero, but I'm actually just a human with blank, whatever your truth is, you know, like I think just being as vulnerable and honest as you can be, and then you'll be able to see the vulnerability of this person, because I think right now you almost have like rose-colored glasses on who they are, because they have a lot of other issues, which I think they would be vulnerable and honest about. But it's just like, if you only see this, then you fall really far, because you're just like, oh no, I thought this was all the answers I was looking for, but actually you have all the same issues as my last relationship. So that's just like what I'm seeing, and I'm in my weird way of trying to communicate this, trying to protect you from, is that fall, and not seeing people for who they are. And I do feel like there's relationship patterns repeating. So I don't know. If you're in a relationship with someone and you've just left somebody else, I think you might be repeating patterns from your last one. I don't know. It's up for you to figure out. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not really getting specifics, but I'm just seeing like, I think maybe take it or leave it if it resonates. Maybe in your past you've had lessons with people, and I think you learned through relationships. So you might learn some hard, I think you learn hard lessons through relationships. So maybe like with friends, with bosses, with family, with maybe roommates or tenants or landlords. I think you learn some hard lessons. So I think from what I can see, I think what happens is you have like a gentler lesson. And then if you take it or leave it, learn from it, you almost get a secondary lesson, and that one is like a bomb. That one was so much harder to learn from and is a lot more destructive. But it's like, if you didn't learn from a little lesson with that person, then you'll get someone who will teach you in a really big way. So that's just why I'm saying I'm like a little nervous for this pile. That's the energy I'm picking up on, is like, I feel like I see this pattern where you learn it in a slightly gentler way, and then if you don't learn from that and you choose to go in a relationship, whether it's friend, coworker, landlord, tenant, all the whatever kind of dynamic you're in, I think you learn it in a really big, painful way the second time. So that's why I keep saying I'm sorry. As the reader, I'm like a little nervous for you, because I see that you have this pattern, and I don't want to see you getting stuck in that, because I just see like bomb. That's what it says, like dropping bomb on your life, or bomb on that relationship, or bomb on whatever. So you just be careful on those rose-colored glasses, okay? And making sure you're seeing people for the whole of them, not just like the side of you that was taught to just help those who are the damsel in distress, the victim, like being someone's hero. That's the energy you gotta watch out for. Are you trying to be someone's hero? I would almost ask myself that. Am I trying to be someone's hero? Am I trying to be their solution, or am I just trying to be their support? There we go. That's better. Okay, so we're going to pull some Archangel Michael cards about guidance around the situation. Okay. I guess we want more than that. We are going to do this one too. Okay. Lots of guidance for you all. So we have prayer will help the situation. Sense of humor. Admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. Make a commitment. Let go of fear now. Pay attention to your dreams. This situation is already resolved. So interesting. Just like pile 2, I'm very drawn to the kids in this card. But like specifically, the boy. And I feel like this is like inner child. So I know most of these picket card readings are watched by females. Statistically, literally, YouTube tells me all the time. But I feel like for this pile, this is a male watching this. And it's like talking about nurturing your own inner child. The boy that was basically broken or like killed by the upbringing you had. And it feels defenseless and vulnerable and like it's like a little boy. It just needed love and support and nurturing and didn't need to be killed and told it needed to become a man. So that's very specific because like I said, I know most of these card readings are watched by females. Almost all of them. So, but anyways, this is just, I feel like I had to say that because it's very strong, like male energy coming through. And actually for a lot of this, it's been a strong male energy watching this. I feel like who needs this advice? So maybe this is only going to be watched by literally one person. I don't know. And that's why their energy is coming through so strong. Who knows? The only I guess you know because you can see the views in the future. So yeah. So prayer will help the situation. So innocence, let go of fear now, pay attention to your dreams. There is a lot around seeing things. So I find it so interesting that the color is like a little hazy. So it's like, I feel like there's something you're not always quite seeing clearly. And I think it's coming because of this card about admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. So I know it can be really hard to, especially if our upbringing, we were told shadows shouldn't exist and like so much guilt and shame was thrown at us. But I feel like your liberation from your shadow comes from acknowledging it and knowing what it is and accepting it and knowing that like sometimes you do this thing. It is a coping mechanism that adapted from this wounding and that exists within you. And there's no point like denying it because everyone sees it and experiences it. You experience it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like seeing the situation clearly will involve you having to embrace this shadow aspect that I think you've previously tried to deny. And I'm so sorry. I feel like as I'm saying this, I'm like, some of you might just be like, this is such a mean reading. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just really trying actually to be as gentle about this as I can because I feel like this is like gonna liberate you from that dynamic of like having to be the hero and having to help these damsels who I think don't always appreciate you for who you are, who don't see you fully for who you are, and I don't think you see them fully for who they are. And I think just both sides aren't winning. So like being the card reader, I'm like, it's actually really sad to see two people not even fully being able to see all of each other. It doesn't feel good for anyone equally. So we just want better for both you, for all of you, for you. So in a sense, this is just definitely, I feel like, a little confirmation about being gentler with yourself and really nurturing this inner child. I don't know. I'm not talking about the feminine energy within yourself. I'm talking about nurturing that inner child of you, that gentle energy. In a way that it wasn't given. Let go of fear now. I feel like this is definitely talking again about I feel like the shadow and like feeling like a little upset that there is a shadow. And pay attention to your dreams. Definitely feel like there's a lot of information and intuition coming through in your dreams. So if you're getting like some funny feelings, like pay attention to what's happening in those. I feel like this is how your mind is working through things that are bothering you and bringing you more clarity. Because I do think this pile can get lost in their own thoughts to the point where you don't even know what is right or left or up or down, and your dreams are feeling more neutral about it, which is funny because they still have strong emotions, I think, but they're not rationing logic to the degree that your awake mind is. Make a commitment. This one I feel is so interesting because if you are coming from pile 2, I don't know, I feel like I think you just have to decide what you want and stick with it and work through it. That's what I get. Like, you decide, make a decision, decide what you want, and commit to that decision. So if you're gonna, whatever you're choosing, I feel like you should choose you. You should choose you, and whatever makes you happy, make a commitment to that and stick with it. And don't get caught in that hero and damsel in distress energy. You gotta just keep choosing what you kind of decided you were gonna do. So I don't know, maybe you almost make like a list. Me, like, I will honor what I want to do or something. I don't know. I feel like there is literally a list where you're like, this is what I'm going to remember that I want to do, that's self-honoring, and what I need to experience right now. Because I feel like the problem with this pile is I feel like you have a habit of ignoring what you want so that you can be the hero and help these people out. But I feel like you get so lost in who you are. So like, some of you might say you're a shapeshifter, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like this is a shapeshifter that knows who they are. And it's important for you to know who you are so that you can show up authentically and live a life that you love. Like, I think this is all I'm trying to convey, is like, I feel like if you don't know who you are, how are you going to live a life that you love? How are you going to do what honors you if you sort of just need to discover who that is? And I'm so sorry that even needs to happen for you at this point in your life. But I just feel like your upbringing denied you of that. And I feel like for some of you, you're a little bit older and you're just kind of like, shouldn't I know who I am? And I'm like, it's okay that you don't. It's better late than never, right? So it's just important for you to make a commitment to discovering who that is and what you want. And even maybe you have to try on a few different skins, but you learn what part of the skin you want to keep. Maybe you want to have a little bit of a leopard print, a little bit of zebra print, maybe something else. Like, it doesn't just need to be one skin. You don't need to just become whoever that damsel needs you to be. You just be you. And that could be different aspects. And you can be a complex person. You don't need to fit into one stereotype. Just makes you more beautiful, right? Yeah. Anyways, I hope this is making sense, because I keep getting with this pile that you could feel like I'm picking on you, and I'm really not. I really want you to see that the greatest tragedy that I can see here is if you don't ever discover who you are and what you enjoy. That would be the saddest tragedy for you to have gone through this life and not figured that out. And like I said, I think this is your greatest challenge, your greatest lesson, because I feel like your upbringing denied you of that. And your great lesson that you are here to learn is to figure out who you are and what you want, and not change who you are to appease the people you want. And specifically these damsel energies, you gotta just be you. So maybe you have a habit of like being a little codependent in relationships, romantic relationships, or I don't know, I think your parents you have the same dynamic with to some degree. I mean, like I said, only take whatever resonates, but I do feel like you change so that you are more digestible to your parents. But you need to even ask if it's worth being in those relationships, right? There's so much reflection for this file, but I feel like ultimately just make a commitment to choose you. And then the sense of humor is just like, you know, if things are just like, if something just absolutely ridiculous is happening, sometimes all you can do is laugh a little bit, like, how did I get here? How is this happening? Who am I that this is even possible? And just like kind of brush it away, you know? Like, yeah, it makes me think, for example, like, in hindsight, it's actually even funnier because I could have used something different. But I like didn't have a kitchen table for a bit, and I was eating like sitting on the floor on a table that was, or on a chair, sorry, that was angled as a table. And then my two cats were like, it was just such a perfect height for them. So they were like trying to steal my food from both directions. And I just was like, how did I get here? Like you could either cry in that moment, or you could just laugh at how ridiculous it was. And I almost feel like this is like one of those moments where it might just be so ridiculous. They just have to laugh. You just have to laugh about it because there's nothing else you can do. And it just kind of helps clear that energy a little bit. And yes, in hindsight, I realized I could have just put a chair up to my freezer and eaten off the freezer. I mean, the cats still would have been attacking it. But at least it would have been a flat surface that wasn't angled. Yeah, kind of a funny moment. Anyways, it was kind of funny actually, because all my friends who were in couples were like, this is the most saddest thing ever. Then all my friends who were single Like, we're like, this is actually so true and so hilarious. So it just goes to show, like, when you're in kind of the shits. Oh shoot, I was doing so good at not swearing. This whole card reading. Trying to get better YouTube algorithms. Swearing apparently isn't one of them. Oh well, maybe they'll miss that word. Anyways, I totally lost track of my thought. Anyways, yeah, so the other people who'd gone through some struggles with that, like, just thought it was so funny because they learned to have humor in those moments, because it's like a funny thing you never thought you'd find yourself there, but you gotta laugh because it's so ridiculous. Okay, so messages from the soulmate cards. We have dwelling on the past and future keeps me from experiencing the power of now. Make a conscious choice to be present. Accept love now. I'm grateful for love now. Interesting. That did also come up in pile 2. Okay, what else do they need to know for pile 3? We have you lost sight of what is really important? Remember a time when life was simpler and the world seemed like a giant playground just waiting to be explored. Perhaps it is time to rediscover that world together. So I really feel like this is huge with this relationship patterns card, where I was saying it's talking about finding that joy and inner child energy again. And maybe if you weren't allowed to have it, even nurturing it so you can have it, you can experience it. Because this is just like, what is most important? Committing to yourself and honoring yourself and discovering who you are. Who are you? Who am I? That's a really big question. Okay, I think we're actually going to do just one more. We have, do not fear the current changes. All is happening in accordance with your divine plan. The current events are paving the way to a brighter future. Love illuminates all darkness. Remain positive and light. Yes, so it is very clear that everything you're experiencing, despite some chaos, some turmoil, on some level, your beautiful soul decided to contract all these plans up so you can learn some lessons, and I think ultimately discover who you are and know the importance of being true to yourself. Super strong message for this pile. Okay, and lastly we have the healing mantras. I just looked up just in time to see my video record stop because I hit the time restraint. Yeah, limit. There you go. Not the word I was looking for. Time limit. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I know there's a lot going on for this pile, but I do feel like a sense of like lightness still. So I think despite some like deep contemplation and heavy thoughts that you're going through, there is still some joy going on in your life. So awesome. Good on you. This is a thumbs up. I don't know what it looks like. Thumbs up for you. That is important. That is what you're being called to do more of. Okay, so anyways, healing mantra. Okay, we have deconstructing doubt. Boom. Only my beliefs are in my way. I would say that is accurate for this pile. I am born of infinite joy. There we go, another joy card. And we have, I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. Yep, definitely a bunch of you from pile 2. Just to keep validating that. I probably shouldn't keep articulating that, because if you're not resonating with that, then you just leave it. But yeah, so this is all I have for you, pile 3. I sincerely wish the best for you. Sorry, my words are getting all funny again. Some communication blocks for sure happening in all the piles. That's okay though. It's just a thing that happens in relationship and stuff like that. So don't sweat it. Definitely a lot about communicating and finding your joy and not getting caught in identities that are not serving you and your highest good. You got to commit to you, okay? All right. So I'm going to clear the energy and I'm going to leave you to contemplate some things, because there's some things that you need to... It's funny, don't dare say think about anything, because I think you think too much. Some things you need to feel if they are true or not. True for you. Okay, anyways, best of luck, pile 3. And wishing you... It's so funny, I feel like all my words are going. Okay, we're just going to clear the energy. I don't know what's going on.